Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kami dari kelompok Special Education yang beranggotakan 4 orang, termasuk saya, yaitu Ibu Risma Ahlan, Ibu En Ratnengsi, dan Ibu Ana Acara. Dalam presentasi ini, kami akan memberikan sebuah judul, yaitu Implementation of Online Learning, Special School for Children with Disability during the COVID and then pandemic situation. Presentasi ini akan disampaikan nanti oleh Ibu Ana. Untuk selanjutnya, saya persilakan pada Bu Ana untuk mempresentasikan tentang hasil riset yang kita lakukan ini.
Ya.
Silakan.
Terima kasih Pak Endang. Deliver in English ya Bu ya. Yeah. Okay, so based on the finding of the survey, so we did a survey in the 16 provinces about online learning for children with disability. So in overall point of view, there are some of notes taken here. Yeah, so we found that there's 66% during the online learning, there are so many lack of communications. And then 34% is students' response is very low. And then parents having a difficulties in teaching the children about 90%. And then they also say that 6% they feel tired. And then less of the time is 4%. Another things as well, we found that especially for students, we see that the students is inactive. They feel bored. They answer 53%. And then 31% they say depends on the children mood for the active for learning online. And then only 14% they say active only in the beginning of the lesson. And another point is that during the online learning, teachers say it's not really good. They answer around 53%. And then for online, for the good enough responses, 40%. For the teacher who say the online learning is good is only 3%. Another thing is that the challenge that they have is the parent cooperation. They answer around 43%. And then parents good enough in the cooperation saying by 38%. So after this, there will be a breakdown of each of the categories. So we can check on that surfaces. So we can see how the teacher respond to the survey that we deliver to them. And also around 3% they say parent is not really cooperative. Yeah, so this is the picture of the first graph, which we asked around 16 province in Indonesia. Most of them their background mostly is a special education study. So meaning that they already have a background of the special educations. And then for is around 55%. And then for non-special education studies, only 35%. So based on the educational level, mostly it will be dominated by 87% undergraduate. So the teacher is undergraduate students. And then mostly here we can see 48%, they already have an experience in teaching around 7 to 10 years in total. And mostly for handling teaching, we got 41% is the handling children with intellectual disability. So one is for children with visual impairment, second is for hearing impairment, and the third is for students with intellectual disability, and then 4 is for students who have a motoric problem. Yeah, so this is how the profile for the student for the special school teacher. Another thing is that when we talk about the implementations of the online learning, we also want to know the preparation. So based on the graph, we can see we already asked the 5 elements or criteria: implementation, preparation, focus, material orientation, schedule orientation, and a total of the meeting. On the implementation, mostly during this pandemic, they say that for 65% is doing by online, and then another 35% they say they doing the home visit. For preparation focus, here they say that the will be the highest one to be prepared, which is 29%, and then continue by task and they take it curriculum still as the first main material orientation for this online learning. And then the last one is for, and then the second last one is for schedule oriented. They say that they use the previous one. And then the last one is mostly they take 5 times a week to meet the students. So this is the total meeting of the week. This is for the preparation of online learning by special school teacher. And then the next one is about a surface evaluation and application system used by school teacher for online learning system. They say it goes to individual learning, so which means that they come to the students one by one, and then they go for for individual learning. And also they only 30% answering about classical, and then 5% they say is mixed between individual and a classical. For the evaluation system, mostly in the 59% they answer by portfolio, and then 28% by test, and then 13% by video. And then for the application online learning is through WhatsApp, is 98% answer through WhatsApp, and then only 0.5% using Zoom. And the last one is mostly they will call or just text directly, 2% for SMS and call. For this one, we also asked the teacher about the challenge and effort that they're facing during the online learning. So they answered for the three element or the three aspect. The first one is about the surface system, the challenge. Yeah, here is briefly about the indicator of less effective on the online learning. As mentioned before, is less of a parent involvement, low of understanding of the material learning for 43%, and also for 7% is bad signal. So we can see that there's two same point, which for less of parent involvement, also understanding of the material learning, because these two is connected to each other. So the biggest challenge by the teacher face here is parent complaint. Do not receive any complaints. So mostly is complaints. So parents are complaining a lot about how is teacher deliver the sessions through the online learning. And here is the other side for the parents self. They also complain. First one is about the how they can teach the students or the children. And then students learning motivation also being one of the complaints from parents. And the last one is a back signal frequency. This is something that we see over and over again for the online learning. Yeah, and this is the next one, which we talk about the readiness and hope for the teacher for the future online learning. This is the last question that we asked to the teacher as well. So we really, if they can make this online learning become better, what will be the hope and also readiness for them in the future? So for the readiness, they answer three things. The first one is they would like to prepare the material more. So 54% answer that. For coordination with the parents is 30%, and then the variation of the method will be 60%. This is the strongly assumed from the first primary research, which here, the first one is as a result of learning practice is not in the intervention conditions. I think it's very important for us to take care from here in this research is how we create a certain interventions from the teacher to also parents, because mostly the problem will be about the communication between the parents and the teacher. The implication from that is that how we create a certain programs or a certain model or method, that how we can involve the family or the parents in the essentially of the intervention practice, especially when they're able to teach their students. Yeah, I think that's all how we deliver. This is how like the primary pictures of the research itself. Yeah. After, but also not only because of the pandemic, but also we should say that in the future how this online learning also can be culture, especially to embed in the competences of the special education teacher.
Dan itulah presentasi yang disampaikan dari kelompok special education. Dan untuk selanjutnya kami akan menutup presentasi ini. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.